So why do we use number sense routines to start off our class? Three simple things. They engage our students right away, they help build community, and they help strengthen number sense. In this virtual world, we often don't have times to have those little conversations with our students in the hallway or before and after class. And so these are a great way to help build community and get to know your students at the beginning of every class. Number sense routines also connect to the math process goals from the state of Virginia and the LCPS profile of a graduate. If you take a look at both of these graphs, you'll notice that there's a lot of similarities between them. Number sense routines are a great way to allow students to communicate and represent numbers and problems in a different way. They're also a really good way to have students explain their reasoning. A little bit later, we're going to talk about the different types of number sense routines and show off some of them that you can try with your students. But number sense routines should be short and meaningful. It really shouldn't take up more than 5 minutes of your class. It does not have to relate to the content of the day, but it can. And it should be an ongoing process. The more that you do them, the more meaningful they're going to become. If you only do it like every once in a while, they're not going to be as meaningful to the students. So the more you do them, the better they become. Also, you want to make sure that when you start doing number sense routines, that you start with simple ideas first and then move to more complex problems. If you start with a more difficult problem, you're going to shut the students down pretty quickly. As you're doing number sense routines, some of the strategies you might want to keep in mind is making sure that you give appropriate think time to students before accepting any responses. I've seen in several classes already that when a student immediately types an answer into the chat, it becomes the right answer. Many number sense routines have multiple answers and multiple reasonings, and students tend to follow suit once they see that first response. So make sure you're giving them appropriate think time so that you can avoid this issue. If you aren't seeing much variety in student responses, you can share about students from another class, quote unquote. If you start sharing your ideas and saying things like, well, here's how I saw it, it starts to become the right answer. Students tend to want to listen to what the teacher has to say and not really care too much about what other students are thinking. And so rather than putting your answers in, you can make up or share about your fake students from another class. You also want to make sure that you allow students to be able to write or verbalize their responses. In this virtual world, we're seeing many students not turning on cameras and not turning on microphones. It's completely acceptable to allow students to write their answer in the chat or offer if anyone would like to unmute and share their reasoning.